A day in the life of ancient Rome, the world of 100 BC.
As the sun rises over ancient Rome, a city on the brink of history awakens. The air is charged with the promise of power and intrigue as a young boy races through the alleys, his footsteps echoing the heartbeat of an empire. Ancient Rome, known for its grandeur and power, was equally a place of remarkable daily life and vibrant culture. Beyond the grandiose temples and powerful senate, there existed a world of ordinary people, each with their own stories, struggles, and dreams. This journey will take you beyond the iconic monuments, revealing a Rome that is less often seen a city alive with the rhythms of its people. In the year 100 BC, Rome stands as the epicenter of a vast empire, its streets teeming with life and diversity. Citizens, slaves, and merchants navigate the labyrinth of cobblestone alleys, while the Tiber River flows quietly past ancient stone bridges. Here, in this microcosm of civilization, we find a society both advanced and rudimentary, where luxury and poverty coexist in stark contrast. Let us walk these streets and uncover the layers of this ancient world. As the first light of dawn began to spill over the rooftops of ancient Rome, the city stirred from its slumber. The air, crisp and cool, carried the faint whispers of a new day. Imagine the soft glow of the sun as it touched the terracotta tiles, casting long shadows across the narrow cobbled streets. By the year 100 BC, Rome was a bustling metropolis, home to nearly 1 million souls, each with their own morning rituals that set the rhythm of daily life. In the heart of the city, the Forum Romanum, the center of public life, lay dormant for but a few moments longer. The silence was soon broken by the soft clip-clop of hooves as traders led their donkeys laden with goods towards the market stalls. In these early hours, the city was a symphony of subtle sounds. The distant chatter of vendors setting up their wares, the gentle splash of water as fountains came to life, and the muffled steps of citizens beginning their day. This was a world where time was marked by the sun, and the waking hours were precious. As the light grew stronger, the scent of the city unfolded. The aroma of fresh earth mingled with the lingering sweetness of night-blooming flowers. On some mornings, the distant tang of wood smoke from bakers' ovens heralded the promise of warm bread soon to be broken. Families rose with the sun, their homes modest, yet filled with the warmth of shared spaces. The atrium, with its open roof, would soon be bright with sunlight, casting intricate patterns on the mosaic floors. Here, in these intimate settings, the day truly began, each household a microcosm of the great city outside. And as the sun continued its ascent, the scent of freshly baked bread wafted through the air, drawing the city's denizens into the streets, eager to partake in the simple joys of the day ahead. As the first light of dawn crept over the ancient city of Rome, its golden rays kissed the rooftops and began to illuminate the cobbled streets below. The air was crisp and cool, carrying with it the unmistakable aroma of freshly baked bread. This scent, warm and inviting, beckoned the early risers from their modest abodes, drawing them toward the numerous bakeries that dotted the city like stars in a night sky. In these bustling establishments, known as pastrina, the magic of turning simple ingredients into sustenance unfolded each morning. A typical Roman bakery was a hive of activity. Inside, the clatter of wooden paddles echoed as bakers skillfully maneuvered loaves in and out of the blazing ovens. The heat radiated from the hearths, casting a comforting warmth in contrast to the morning chill. Flour dusted the air, settling on surfaces and skin alike, a testament to the craft taking place within these walls. These bakeries were a vital part of daily life, providing the staple food that formed the backbone of the Roman diet. Bread, or panis, was not merely food, it was a symbol of sustenance and community. From the humble plebeian to the wealthiest patrician, bread was shared and cherished. It was said that during the reign of Augustus, Rome consumed over 200,000 loaves daily, a figure that speaks to its centrality in Roman society. Whether enjoying a simple hunk of coarse bread or a more refined variety enriched with honey and olive oil, the people of Rome found comfort and nourishment in this daily ritual. And so, as the sun rose higher, the city hummed with life. The Insulae, those towering apartment buildings, began to stir with activity, signaling the start of another day in the vibrant heart of ancient Rome. In the bustling world of ancient Rome, most inhabitants found themselves within the confines of the Insulae, the towering apartment buildings that loomed over the city's labyrinthine streets. These structures, sometimes reaching up to 7 stories high, were a testament to Roman ingenuity and urban density. Constructed primarily from brick and concrete, the insulae were a stark contrast to the grand villas of the patricians, yet they formed the backbone of Roman urban life. Inside, the air was thick with the mingling sense of humanity and the remnants of last night's meals. The narrow staircases, worn smooth by countless footsteps, echoed with the familiar sounds of families beginning their day. The walls, often thin and poorly insulated, allowed the chatter of neighbors and the cries of infants to weave a tapestry of life that was both intimate and overwhelming. In these vertical villages, the concept of privacy was a luxury few could afford. Living conditions varied greatly depending on one's wealth. The lower floors often housed wealthier residents, enjoying slightly larger rooms and windows to catch a glimpse of the bustling city below. Higher up, the spaces became more cramped and precarious, as the risk of collapse or fire was a constant concern. Yet, for many, these insulae were not just homes, but communities. Here, children played in narrow corridors while women gathered in communal spaces, exchanging news and recipes over the rhythmic pounding of grain. The morning light filtered through small windows, casting a warm glow on the worn cobblestones outside. As the city slowly awoke, the insulae emptied their occupants into the streets, ready to partake in the vibrant commerce that awaited outside. And so, the pulse of Rome continued, each insula a microcosm of life in the heart of an ancient empire, leading seamlessly into a day alive with trade and bustling activity. As the first light of dawn caressed the rooftops of ancient Rome, the streets began to stir with the symphony of commerce. Merchants unfurled their awnings, bright and colorful against the stone facades, each stall a small universe of goods and possibilities. The air, already warming under the Mediterranean sun, was filled with the mingling scents of spices from the east, ripe fruits from the surrounding countryside, and the ubiquitous aroma of freshly baked bread. Imagine walking through the Forum Romanum, the beating heart of Roman trade. The chatter of vendors and the clinking of coins punctuated the hum of the crowd. Here you might encounter a trader from Hispania with amphorae of rich olive oil, their surfaces glistening in the sunlight. Nearby, a cloth merchant from Alexandria displayed bolts of linen, the fabric soft and cool to the touch, dyed in vibrant hues that seemed to capture the very essence of the Nile. The variety of goods was as astounding as the diversity of voices that filled the air. Latin mingled with Greek and Phoenician, each language adding its own rhythm to the day's transactions. On one corner, a group of children laughed, their joy a counterpoint to the serious negotiations happening nearby over a prized piece of silver tableware. As you moved through these bustling avenues, the ground underfoot was worn smooth by countless footsteps, a testament to the generations of Romans who had walked these very paths. And in this lively tapestry of trade and exchange, the city's lifeblood flowed not just in goods, but in the water that sustained them all. The aqueducts, engineering marvels of their time, brought life to the city, a prelude to our next exploration of how water shaped the very essence of Rome. In the heart of ancient Rome, water was more than a necessity. It was the lifeblood that coursed through the city's veins. The Romans, with their unparalleled engineering prowess, constructed aqueducts that snaked across the landscape like lifelines drawn from distant, pristine sources. These aqueducts, such as the Aqua Appia, built in 312 BC, stretched over miles, their elegant arches silhouetted against the azure sky, carrying fresh mountain water into the bustling city below. As you wander through the sun-dappled streets, imagine the sound of water cascading through stone channels, a soothing undercurrent to the city's vibrant life. The water flowed with a gentle murmur, a constant reminder of the intricate system that sustained Rome's population. In the early morning light, the air was cool and carried a faint scent of damp earth, mingling with the aroma of fresh bread baking in nearby hearths. At the heart of this network were the public fountains, or Nasoni, each a small oasis where both the rich and the humble gathered. Picture a woman in a simple tunic, filling her clay jug as children splash playfully nearby, their laughter blending with the soft gurgle of water. These communal spaces were not only for drawing water, but also for exchanging news and stories, binding the community together. Meanwhile, in the grander villas, private baths shimmered with the same life-giving water, a testament to luxury and the city's engineering genius. Marble floors echoed with the footsteps of Romans seeking solace and rejuvenation in the warm embrace of the baths. And so, with water flowing through every facet of Roman life, the stage is set for the next vibrant scene. As the city's hum grows, listen as we journey to the bustling heart of Rome, the Forum, where voices and echoes tell the stories of an empire. As the first light of dawn touched the ancient stones of the Roman Forum, a symphony of sounds began to fill the air. The Forum, nestled between the Palatine and Capitoline hills, was the political heart of Rome, a place where the pulse of the empire could be felt in every echoing footstep and fervent debate. Picture the scene: merchants setting up their stalls, the scent of fresh bread mingling with the earthy aroma of the stone walkways. As the sun climbed higher, its golden rays illuminated the great basilica Aemilia, casting long shadows that danced across the cobblestones. Voices rose and fell, a tapestry of Latin words woven into the air as senators gathered on the steps of the Curia, their togas a sea of white against the vibrant backdrop of the city. In those same streets, the clatter of chariots and the braying of donkeys added to the chorus. Here, amid the noise, the people of Rome came to life. Citizens debated the latest edicts and news from distant provinces, their words punctuated by the occasional shout from a passing vendor hawking olives or wine. The Forum was not just a marketplace of goods, but of ideas and influence. Meanwhile, the marble arch of Septimius Severus glistened in the morning light, a testament to Rome's victories and ambitions. It was here that Julius Caesar once walked, and where Cicero's orations stirred the hearts of many. Imagine standing amidst the throng, feeling the energy of a city at its zenith. And as the day unfolded, the Forum remained a vibrant stage, its scenes ever changing. This was the heart of Rome, where life pulsated with a rhythm all its own. As we leave this bustling center, let us turn our gaze to the attire that clothed these ancient lives, exploring the fashion of the ages. In the gentle morning light of ancient Rome, the streets began to fill with the soft rustle of fabric as citizens awoke and adorned themselves in garments reflecting their place in society. The most common attire was the tunica, a simple, knee-length garment woven from wool or linen, which formed the foundation of Roman dress. Picture the subtle texture of the fabric, slightly coarse to the touch, yet comforting against the skin. For the affluent, clothing was not merely functional, but a symbol of status. The toga, an expansive garment crafted from fine white wool, was draped elegantly over the shoulders. It was a testament to the craftsmanship of Roman weavers, who skillfully manipulated the fabric into folds that caught the morning light in soft, fluid lines. Only Roman citizens could wear the toga, and its color could denote rank or achievement. A senator's toga, for instance, bore a broad purple stripe, a rich hue that stood out vividly against the pale stone of the city. Women, meanwhile, might wear a stola, a long dress that flowed gracefully to their feet, often accompanied by a palla, a shawl that wrapped around the shoulders. The stola was typically dyed with vibrant shades derived from plant and mineral sources, infusing the streets with hues of deep indigo and warm saffron. Footwear, too, was an essential part of Roman attire. Sandals made from supple leather echoed softly against stone pavements, their straps crisscrossing in intricate patterns. As you wander these ancient pathways, imagine the scent of fresh leather mingling with the earthy aroma of the bustling marketplace. And so, clothed in the rich tapestry of Roman fashion, we move through history, where the next sensation awaits, the tantalizing aroma of Roman cuisine, promising delights that linger in both memory and air. As dawn breaks over the eternal city, the streets of ancient Rome begin to awaken with the rhythmic clatter of sandals against cobblestone. In the bustling marketplace, the air is thick with the aroma of freshly baked bread, mingling with the sharper scents of olives and spices. Vendors call out, their voices weaving through the narrow alleys, enticing passers-by with promises of delicate cheeses and ripe fruits. Imagine stepping into a Roman kitchen, where the heart of daily life beats steadily. Here, the warmth of a crackling fire casts flickering shadows on the stone walls, and the rich smell of garum, a fermented fish sauce beloved by Romans, fills the space. A pot simmers gently over the flames, releasing the earthy fragrance of lentils, mingled with hints of cumin and coriander, staples in Roman cooking. In this culinary haven, a cook carefully grinds black pepper and honey, preparing a dish of moretum, a type of herb cheese spread. Favored in the mornings, the texture is creamy, punctuated by the occasional crunch of pine nuts. Nearby, a loaf of panis quadratus, the iconic round bread marked with deep cuts, bakes to a crisp golden finish, its crust crackling softly as it cools. Roman cuisine, a tapestry of diverse flavors, reflects the vastness of the empire. From the provinces, exotic ingredients like dates and figs travel to grace the tables of Roman homes. Wine, often diluted with water, accompanies each meal, its bouquet carrying the sun-drenched essence of vineyards from the Italian countryside. And so, as the day unfolds, the aroma of Roman cuisine tells its own story, a story of empire, trade, and the simple pleasures of a shared meal. As we leave this feast behind, let us wander towards the sacred spaces, where the spirits of the Pantheon await, whispering tales of gods and mortals alike. As dawn's first light gently caresses the marble columns of Rome's temples, the air is filled with whispers of devotion, mingling with the scent of incense. In these sacred precincts, the spirits of the Pantheon hold sway, each deity playing a role in the tapestry of daily life. The people of Rome believed their lives were interwoven with the divine, each action a thread in a grand celestial design. Imagine standing within the temple of Jupiter Optimus Maximus, a place of awe-inspiring grandeur. Its towering columns cast long shadows across the forum, where citizens gather to pay homage to the King of Gods. Offerings of wine and honey are placed with reverence, their sweet aroma mingling with the earthy scent of burning offerings. Here, the hum of prayers rises like a gentle chorus, beseeching protection and favor. And yet, Jupiter was but one among many. In the bustling streets, the goddess Vesta watched over hearth and home, her eternal flame a symbol of stability. Her temple, circular and serene, was a haven where the Vestal virgins tended the sacred fire, their white robes rustling softly in the cool morning breeze. To neglect her was unthinkable, for the flame's extinguishment was said to portend disaster. Meanwhile, at the crossroads, the household gods, the Lares, stood vigil in small shrines. These ever-watchful guardians were honored with offerings of bread and salt, simple tokens of gratitude for their unseen protection. In such ways, the divine was woven seamlessly into the fabric of Roman life. And so, with the gods appeased and the day's rituals complete, the city awakens fully. The artisans begin their work, crafting beauty from stone and clay, infusing each creation with echoes of the divine, a seamless blend of art and belief that defined the heart of Rome. In the bustling heart of Rome, where the sun cast long shadows over the forum, artisans began their day with the soft glow of dawn. Imagine the air, tinged with the scent of fresh clay and the tang of metal from a nearby forge. These were the skilled craftsmen who wove the fabric of Roman life, their hands shaping the wonders that define the city. In small workshops tucked away from the main thoroughfares, the sounds of hammers striking bronze and the gentle rasp of chisels on marble filled the air. Here, artisans like Marcus, a skilled potter, molded clay with practiced ease, each twist of his wrist turning humble earth into vessels of grace and utility. He worked alongside Lucius, a master stonemason, whose hands seemed to coax life from the cold marble, carving intricate reliefs that would adorn temples and public buildings. These craftsmen were the architects of beauty, their creations echoing the grandeur of Rome itself. Their skill was the quiet force behind the city's stunning mosaics, vibrant frescoes, and intricate jewelry. The colors they chose were not mere decoration. They told stories of gods and heroes, of battles won and lost. The artisans' guilds, close-knit communities of shared knowledge, passed down these secrets through generations, preserving the delicate balance of art and function. Yet, their work was not just for the elite. As you walked the cobbled streets, you might find a simple clay lamp in a bustling market, its gentle glow illuminating a Roman home. It was in these everyday items that the artisans truly left their mark, embedding beauty into the daily lives of citizens. And as the day wore on, the city's pulse quickened, drawing people to the theater and the arena, places where Rome's vibrant culture came to life. Imagine joining them, stepping into a world of entertainment and leisure where the artisans' creations would stand as silent witnesses to history. In the heart of ancient Rome, where bustling streets were alive with the scent of fresh bread and the chatter of vendors, the Romans found myriad ways to unwind from their daily labors. As the sun dipped low, casting a warm golden hue over the city, the people gathered in places designed for pleasure and diversion. One could hear the distant laughter and applause echoing from the grand theaters, where tragedies and comedies were performed to enthralled audiences. The theater of Pompey, completed in 55 BC, was a marvel, with its stone facade gleaming in the waning light, offering a respite from the mundane. Meanwhile, the public baths, or thermae, provided a different kind of retreat. Within these vast complexes, the air was thick with steam, and the scent of olive oil used lavishly for massages and cleansing. Here, Romans of every class mingled, soaking in the warm waters, exchanging gossip, or simply enjoying the soothing atmosphere. Caracalla's baths, with their soaring arches and intricate mosaics, were a testament to Rome's architectural prowess and a sanctuary for those seeking relaxation. In the evenings, the Forum Romanum became a hub of social activity. The sounds of musicians playing lyres and flutes filled the air, mingling with the voices of philosophers and orators, captivating small crowds with their eloquence. It was a scene of vibrant life, where the worries of the day seemed to dissolve into the night. As the stars began to twinkle above the eternal city, anticipation grew for the next day's spectacle, the Chariot Races at the Circus Maximus. With its towering spina and the roar of the crowd, it promised thrills and excitement. And so the city hummed with the promise of another day's revelry, inviting you forward into the heart of Rome's most thrilling entertainments. As the sun climbed higher into the azure sky, the heart of Rome pulsed with anticipation. The Circus Maximus, an architectural marvel stretching over 600 meters, was the stage for the city's most exhilarating spectacle, the Chariot Races. Imagine standing amongst the 80,000 spectators, the air thick with the scent of sweat, dust, and excitement, as four-horse chariots thundered past in a blur of color and sound. The clatter of wheels on the stone track, the cries of the orage, the charioteers mingled with the roars of the crowd, creating a symphony of chaos and thrill. In those moments, the circus was more than a venue. It was the heartbeat of Rome itself. Families and friends gathered, their voices rising in unison, as they cheered for their favored teams, the Reds, Blues, Greens, and Whites. Each faction had its loyal followers, and the rivalry was fierce, yet filled with a shared joy that transcended the daily struggles of Roman life. The stakes were high for the charioteers, who, like the famed Scorpus, could win both glory and riches, or risk a brutal fall. As the horses strained and the chariots hurtled towards the finish, time seemed to stretch, each second laden with the weight of expectation. And when the victor crossed the line, a collective exhale filled the air, a release of tension that rippled through the stands. Yet, the end of a race was never truly an end. It was a moment of renewal, a promise of future contests. In the quieter moments after the races, the thoughts of young Romans might drift to their own future pursuits as the city settled back into its rhythms. And so we turn to the education and upbringing of these future citizens to see how Rome nurtured the minds that would one day guide its destiny. In the heart of ancient Rome, as the first rays of sunlight filtered through the city's bustling streets, life for the young began not with play, but with the promise of learning. The air, filled with the scent of fresh bread from nearby bakeries, carried the sounds of early morning chatter as children made their way to the Ludus, the primary school where their education commenced. Beneath the towering columns of the Forum, boys and, in rare cases, girls sat on wooden benches, their tunics rustling with every movement. Their destination was a modest classroom, often outdoors, where the magister or teacher awaited. Armed with wax tablets and styluses, the students listened intently as lessons unfolded. The rhythmic scratching of styluses on wax mingled with the distant clamor of the city, creating a symphony of learning. A typical day in the ludus began with the basics: reading, writing, and arithmetic. The children practiced their letters by tracing them repeatedly, their fingers growing sure and confident with each stroke. Occasionally, the sharp scent of ink would punctuate the lessons, used sparingly for more advanced students. By the age of 12, many boys, especially those from wealthy families, progressed to the Grammaticus. Here they delved into the poetic verses of Virgil and Homer, the words painting vivid images of heroes and distant lands in their minds. Education was more than just knowledge. It was a path to becoming a respected citizen. But as the day drew to a close, the lessons extended beyond the classroom. In the home, mothers played a vital role in imparting wisdom and values, shaping the character of the future Roman leaders. And so, as we turn our focus to the role of women, we see how their influence extended beyond the domestic sphere, shaping the very fabric of Roman society. In the heart of ancient Rome, women's lives unfolded like the rich tapestries that lined their homes. Imagine the soft glow of an early morning sun filtering through woven curtains, casting intricate patterns upon the mosaic floors. Women of this era were not mere shadows in the bustling streets of Rome. They played pivotal roles within their homes and beyond. As the city stirred with the aroma of fresh bread wafting from nearby bakeries, Roman women began their day with purpose. Some, like Cornelia Africana, mother of the Gracchi brothers, wielded significant influence in political circles through the education and marriage of their children. Her legacy was not just in her offspring, but in the values she instilled, which rippled through Roman society. In the bustling markets of the Forum, women were active participants, their voices mingling with the din of haggling merchants and the clatter of carts on cobblestones. They were not simply passive consumers. Many managed businesses and owned property, their economic contributions vital to the thriving Roman economy. Even the religious life of Rome was touched by their presence. Vestal virgins, revered for their service, tended the sacred flame that symbolized Rome's eternal spirit. Their white robes fluttered in the gentle breeze as they moved through the temple precincts, their status affording them privileges and respect rare for women of the time. Yet, the life of a Roman woman was not without its challenges. Bound by societal expectations and legal limitations, they navigated a world that was both empowering and restrictive. As evening fell, the city echoed with the sounds of laughter and music from nearby taverns, a reminder of the vibrant yet complex world these women inhabited. As we leave the intricate lives of Roman women behind, our journey leads us to the bustling trade routes and treasures that connected Rome to the farthest reaches of its empire. In the heart of ancient Rome, the city's vibrant markets were alive with the sounds of haggling voices and the rich aroma of spices from distant lands. These bustling centers were not just places of commerce, but vivid tapestries of the empire's far-reaching connections. Trade routes, like veins, carried the lifeblood of exotic goods from the outer edges of Rome's vast domain into its core. Silk from China, its texture smooth as flowing water, shimmered under the Mediterranean sun, while the scent of frankincense from Arabia, heady and sweet, wafted through the air. Imagine yourself wandering these crowded stalls, the cobblestones warm underfoot as traders from as far as India offered pepper and ivory. The Via Salaria, an ancient road leading from Rome to the Adriatic was once a crucial artery for the transport of salt, a commodity so vital it gave rise to the word salary. And it wasn't just goods that traveled these routes. Ideas, languages, and cultures flowed along with them, weaving a complex web that connected diverse peoples. The Roman economy thrived on this global network, with Ostia, its bustling port, serving as the gateway to the sea. Here, ships laden with amphorae filled with olive oil and wine arrived daily, their sails flapping in the salty breeze. Yet, while the city basked in luxury brought by this trade, the shadows of inequality lingered. Wealth was unevenly distributed, and the grandeur of Rome's markets could not mask the undercurrents of reliance on enslaved labor. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the Forum, our story begins to shift towards the darker aspects of this economic engine. The next chapter unfolds the complexities and human costs as we delve into the shadow of slavery that underpinned Rome's prosperity. As the golden light of dawn crept across the cobbled streets of ancient Rome, the city began to stir with the murmurs of its waking inhabitants. Among them were the slaves, who, unseen and often forgotten, formed the backbone of this vast empire. Imagine the air heavy with the scent of baking bread and the distant clamor of merchants setting up their stalls in the Forum. These slaves were the silent force that powered the daily life of Rome, from the grandest villas on the Palatine Hill to the bustling workshops and markets below. In the year 100 BC, the city was home to nearly 1 million souls, a quarter of whom were slaves. Their roles were as varied as the colors of a Roman fresco. In the kitchens, skilled cooks prepared lavish feasts, their fingers stained with the juices of ripe figs and olives. Meanwhile, in the bustling streets, others carried heavy amphorae filled with wine or olive oil, their muscles straining under the weight. The sound of their footsteps mingled with the cries of hawkers and the clatter of chariots echoing through the narrow alleyways. Yet the reality of their existence was harsh. Many slaves faced brutal treatment, their bodies bearing the scars of their servitude. In the dim light of cramped quarters, they slept on straw mats, their dreams often interrupted by the demands of a master. Despite the oppressive conditions, they were indispensable to Rome's prosperity, maintaining the intricate machinery of its society. As the Tiber River whispered its ancient secrets to the city, the pulse of Rome's life continued unabated, flowing through its streets like the vital blood of an empire. And so, we turn our gaze to the Tiber itself, the lifeblood of Rome, where the city's heart beats strongest. The Tiber River, a gentle yet relentless flow, cradled the city of Rome in its embrace. In the early morning light, the sun's rays danced upon its surface, casting a golden hue that shimmered like ancient coins. The river's waters murmured softly, a constant companion to the daily life that unfolded along its banks. In the heart of the city, the scent of damp earth mingled with that of fresh bread from nearby bakeries, creating a tapestry of aromas that spoke of the day ahead. The Tiber was not merely a river. It was the artery through which the lifeblood of commerce and culture pulsed. Barges laden with grain and olive oil from the provinces glided quietly through the water, their wooden hulls creaking softly. These goods, vital for the sustenance of a burgeoning population, were unloaded at the bustling port of Ostia. Here the air was thick with the smell of spices and the calls of merchants haggling over prices, their voices rising above the gentle lapping of water against stone. On its banks, artisans honed their crafts, their hands stained with the colors of the dyes they used. The river provided not only sustenance but inspiration, its ebb and flow a reminder of the cycles of life. For the people of Rome, the Tiber was a source of stories and legends, whispered tales carried by the currents. As the sun climbed higher, the city awoke in earnest, preparing for the vibrant celebrations that would soon fill its streets. The Tiber, serene yet ever present, watched over the city as it had for centuries, a silent witness to Rome's triumphs and tribulations. And as the day unfolded, the river continued its journey, a timeless thread woven through the fabric of Roman life, leading us gently toward the heart of its festivities and celebrations. As dawn unfolds over ancient Rome, the city awakens to the promise of celebration. The air is thick with the scent of fresh bread from bustling bakeries and the distant echo of vendors setting up their stalls. The streets, usually filled with the relentless pulse of daily life, now prepare for a day of joy and festivity. Romans cherished their festivals, moments when the boundaries of class blurred and the city united in shared delight. Imagine the Forum, its grand colonnades adorned with vibrant garlands of flowers, as laughter and music weave through the air. Children dart between market stalls, their laughter mingling with the rhythmic clatter of hooves on cobblestones. The Festival of Saturnalia, a December celebration honoring Saturn, god of agriculture, transforms the city. During Saturnalia, roles reversed, and masters served their slaves, if only for a day, fostering a spirit of equality and revelry. Street performers, clad in colorful tunics, entertain the throngs with acrobatics and music. The aroma of roasting meats wafts through the air as feasts begin, tables laden with delicacies like honeyed dates and spiced wine. Citizens gather at the Circus Maximus, the largest chariot racing stadium in Rome, its seats filled with excited spectators. The roar of the crowd rises like thunder as chariots race by, their wheels spinning a blur of speed and daring. But beyond the jubilant surface of these celebrations lies a deeper connection to the divine, a belief that these festivals pleased the gods and secured their favor. As the day fades into evening, the glow of oil lamps casts a warm amber light across the city, marking the end of festivities. And while the echoes of laughter still linger, another aspect of Roman life awaits exploration, the mysteries and remedies that define their understanding of health and wellness, promising new wonders to discover. As the sun began its gentle arc across the Roman sky, casting a warm glow over terracotta rooftops, the citizens of Rome navigated their bustling lives. In the midst of this daily rhythm, the art of medicine unfolded with a blend of practicality and mystery. Imagine the earthy aroma of herbs wafting through a small apothecary, where shelves lined with clay jars held remedies both familiar and arcane. Here in the heart of the city, a young Roman woman named Livia sought relief for her persistent cough. Livia's visit to the local medicus, the Roman equivalent of a doctor, was an experience steeped in the traditions of the time. The medicus, clad in a simple toga, examined her by the flickering light of an oil lamp, its flame casting dancing shadows on the walls. He would consult his scrolls of Galen and Hippocrates, whose teachings formed the backbone of Roman medical practice. Remedies were often a curious mix of empirical knowledge and superstition, blending herbs like sage and thyme with incantations meant to ward off malign spirits. In the crowded streets outside, the clamor of merchants and the clatter of chariots created a symphony of urban life. Yet, within the confines of healing, a quieter symphony played out. The medicus prepared a potion, its pungent scent filling the air, as he reassured Livia with calming words. Meanwhile, in the more affluent parts of the city, wealthy Romans might seek the services of a Greek physician whose advanced methods and exotic cures were much sought after. As day turned to twilight, the shadows lengthened over the city, signaling the end of another Roman day. In this time of transition, the mysteries of medicine intertwined with the rhythms of life, inviting us to explore further into the heart of Roman existence. As the sun dipped below the horizon, the bustling city of Rome began its gentle descent into evening. The vibrant colors of the day softened into a tapestry of twilight hues, painting the city in shades of indigo and gold. In the Forum, where earlier the air had hummed with debates and the clamor of merchants, a calm began to settle. The scent of evening fires, mingled with the earthy aroma of baked bread, wafted through the streets, carried by the cool breeze. Families gathered around their hearths, the flickering flames casting dancing shadows upon the walls. The Roman Insulae, or apartment buildings, were alive with the quiet murmur of families sharing stories and laughter, their voices creating a soothing symphony that resonated through the narrow alleys. In these moments, the city, so often characterized by its chaos and grandeur, revealed a more intimate side, where connections were forged and nurtured. In the grander domus of the wealthy, evenings were marked by elaborate dinners. The air inside was rich with the heady scent of spices and the savory aroma of roasted meats. Reclining on couches, guests engaged in lively conversation, their voices mingling with the soft notes of a lyre being played in the background. Candlelight flickered gently, creating a warm, inviting glow that enveloped the room. Meanwhile, in the streets, the last of the day's vendors packed away their goods, and the sound of footsteps echoed through the cobblestones as people made their way home. The city, enveloped in a tranquil hush, awaited the arrival of night. Within this silence, the mysteries and stories of ancient Rome lingered, waiting to be carried forward into the night's embrace. And so, as the evening deepened, the echoes of Roman life whispered on, inviting us to listen closer to the tales that linger in the quiet. As the final rays of the sun slipped below the horizon, the city of Rome transformed into a realm of shadows and whispers. The bustling chaos of the day gave way to the gentle murmur of night, as the air cooled and a soft breeze carried the scent of distant fires and the earthy aroma of stone and dust. The streets, once teeming with merchants and citizens, now lay in partial silence, interrupted only by the distant clatter of a cart or the occasional bark of a dog. In the heart of Rome, near the Forum, the faint sounds of conversation could still be heard as friends and families gathered in taverns and insulae. Their voices floated through the narrow alleyways, mingling with the echoes of laughter and the soft clinking of cups. The flickering light of oil lamps cast long shadows on the ancient walls, creating a dance of light and dark that seemed almost alive. Yet, for all its tranquility, the night held its dangers. The poet Juvenal once spoke of the perils of Rome's streets after dark, where the unwary might encounter thieves lurking in alleyways or be startled by the sudden appearance of a stray animal. The city, while quieter, never truly slept, always maintaining a pulse of life that beat softly beneath the cover of night. Above, the stars began to appear, tiny beacons in the vast Roman sky, offering a celestial counterpoint to the world below. As the night deepened, the city seemed to exhale, settling into a serene rhythm that promised rest and reflection. In this silence, the stories of the empire lingered, waiting to be discovered by those who dared to listen. And so we move toward the legacy left behind by the emperors and their people, a story etched in the very stones of Rome itself. As dawn breaks over the eternal city, the legacy of Rome whispers through the ages. The grandeur of its empire may have faded, yet its spirit endures within the labyrinthine streets of the modern metropolis. Imagine walking along the cobblestones of the Via Appia, where sunlight now dances across ancient stones, much as it did over 2 millennia ago. The air carries the faint scent of pine, mingling with the aroma of fresh pastries from nearby bakeries, a reminder of the simple pleasures that have transcended time. In the bustling heart of Rome, the Colosseum stands as a magnificent testament to architectural prowess and the thirst for spectacle. Its imposing arches and weathered facade evoke a sense of awe, echoing the roars of 100,000 voices that once filled the amphitheater. Today, only the gentle murmur of tourists and the distant hum of traffic break the silence that envelops this monumental relic. Meanwhile, the aqueducts that once ferried water to the baths of Caracalla still inspire modern engineering marvels. Their graceful arches stretch across the landscape, a testament to the ingenuity and foresight of Roman architects. The soothing sound of water, a lifeblood of the city, resonates in the fountains of Piazza Navona, where Bernini's sculptures seem to breathe with life. And so, in the quiet of the evening, as shadows lengthen and the city glows under a golden sunset, one can still feel Rome's heartbeat. Its legacy is woven into the fabric of our everyday lives, from the languages we speak to the laws that govern us. As the final chapter of this journey unfolds, we reflect on how the echoes of ancient Rome continue to shape our world, inviting us to explore its timeless influence further. As the echoes of ancient Rome fade into the night, we are left with the remnants of a civilization that shaped the world. The stones of the Forum, the arches of aqueducts, and the whispers of the past still resonate today, reminding us of a time when the mundane and monumental intertwined in the heart of an empire. As we drift back to our own time, we carry with us the stories of those who walked these paths before us. Good night.